I'm a retired Teamster, Local 896. Unions have gotten a bad rap over the years, especially Teamsters, mostly due to their own fault for things they've done. Also, because Republicans and the rich have used unions as their foible against the socialism. The socialism of giving people a living wage, the socialism of providing health care, the socialism of safe workspaces. The South with its right to work states, where whenever someone tries to unionize, like at a car place, like in Alabama, they go crazy and fight you every inch of the way. And that's why they can get away with low wages, long hours, and very little health care while the profit margins go up. Unions were born out of desperate attempts for men to have some kind of dignity when they work. A good paying job, a job that wouldn't kill them while they do it, a job that they could support their families, but mostly to get some dignity as humans, not as a cog or a thing. Since the 1980s, since Reagan became that president, when he fired the Air Traffic Controllers Union, all that changed. Unions have been on the back foot for decades. We let them do it. We let them dictate terms, because Reagan hated labor. Reagan hated anyone who was poor, and he made it his duty to rip it apart. Remember, when Reagan became president, he did exactly what Donald Trump did with Doge and start cutting programs for people. I know it's been a long time, guys, but remember that, okay? Remember the tropes that Republicans did through racism about the welfare queens and the fraud, and they're taking your money, they're just lazy. That's racist based. Okay, never forget that. Unions grew in a time where you had to fight ultra billionaires to break their hold on business and labor. The Carnegies, the Rockefellers. Pinkerton was developed to fight unions. There were labor riots and labor abuses, especially in the steel industry. So I bring this up in context because we keep forgetting about the context on why people need to organize in places like Amazon warehouses. Case in point right now is in the idea of not having a livable wage and someone to represent you against management, because trust me, management doesn't give a fuck about you. They only care about the bottom line. And you got to have a union and a contract so they can all follow together. And a contract can be mutually beneficial for the union members and for the company. Companies just don't like being told what to do. That's been the biggest problem. So in Oregon, a Amazon worker literally dropped during work, and instead of rushing to help him, calling 911, workers were ordered to keep working and don't worry about him. Upper manager would deal with him. He died, and people were just shocked, but the beat went on. And Amazon's response is basically typical corporate. We're sad a team member died, blah, blah, blah. We have grief counseling. Fuck that. The concept of Amazon, and I'm in my garage looking at all the Amazon boxes we have, is a brilliant concept. The problem is that Jeff Bezos is a dog. And Amazon has become basically the Victorian version of a coal mine. Okay? It's all about making money regardless. Fuck them people, they can be replaced. And responses are coming. And instead of people trying to, they want to unionize, they want to get together, they want to present themselves as valuable workers, Amazon won't take it. And that's the thing. If you want a non-violent solution of what's going on, where a man can't just drop dead in the middle of a fucking Amazon warehouse and people being ordered not to help him, while he's laying, not breathing, bleeding from his head, we need to have really big discussions about unionizing these areas and making sure these get a livable wage and respect and a true process of discipline and a true process of operations that everyone benefits from, not just the company. Because what you're going to get is what happened in Riverside, the burning of the Kimberly-Clark warehouse by 20 guys who were not even hired by Kimberly-Clark. They were they were basically temporary employees by an employment agency who rips them off. And that cost Kimberly-Clark $500 million. $500 million of inventory. Because you wouldn't hire people and pay for them. You went with a cheesy employment agency who paid them $18 an hour, which is nothing to live in the area of Ontario, and treated them like shit. And in order to keep costs down, you only had 20 of them running that warehouse. 20. And this is what happens when you don't have a dedicated workforce, you don't have rules, you don't have a livable wage. You're getting what's going on right now. People taking things into their own hands because they have nothing to lose. People keep telling us we have to be peaceful. There are other ways to protest. Violence isn't the answer, but the rest of that quote says violence isn't the answer till it's the only answer. Because the only way it seems that these people will listen to us is to show there are consequences for them. And I don't want to go there. And I think it's time to step up the idea of unionization, or the federal government or someone stepping in and making sure that people are safe, that there's caring. And if it means shaming Amazon, shame them. So my heart goes out to the guy. He's 46 years old and he dropped dead. And boomers wonder why younger millennials and Gen Xers say, fuck that. I don't want to work till I die. Well, you're just lazy. No, you had it better than we did. We don't have to put up with that bullshit. Okay? So I'm still working. I'm lucky that I can work. I have a job and I don't have to physically do work like I used to. But for those of you out there, I know what it is to hump. And I know what it is not to be respected. And I know what it is to fight for your rights. So if you're working the warehouse job, I get it. Do what you got to do, but don't take their shit. And if you get an opportunity to unionize, jump on it. Because that's the only way to stop these motherfuckers. To stop a man dropping dead in the middle of a warehouse and everyone just stepping over his body because he doesn't matter as a human being.